I would highly recommend all those young people out there who are listening, like, you want to get a jump on life, get the hell out of bed in the morning. You know, as I've got older, I've got up earlier and earlier. Now that's partly because you don't need as much sleep, but it's also partly because I've got more and more discipline. Like, get up early in the morning and get your things done. Man, learn to get up at 6 in the morning and you'll be one deadly creature, especially if you can get to work. You'll have half your damn day done by the time other people haul their sorry asses out of bed. And so that's a massive, massive advantage. Get your sleep cycle organized so you get up in the morning. Learn how to do it. No excuses. I'm too tired in the morning. I don't like mornings. Who cares? That's not relevant. It's like, discipline yourself so you can manage it. Schedule your meals, because that's a good disciplinary routine. And then learn to use a calendar, like Google Calendar. Most of you, many of you out there, do not use a calendar. Okay, a calendar is not a prison, and it's not a tyrant, not if you use it properly. A calendar keeps anxiety at bay. It makes sure that you do what you need to do, which is important because otherwise you fall behind. But if you use it properly, it also helps you plan what you want to do. So I could say, well, lay out your damn calendar and design the days you would like to have. You can put in all sorts of things in there you want to do and that would be good for you. And that's a really good way to start being more industrious. Make a plan. You need a plan for 3 years. You need a plan for the next year. You need a plan for the next 6 months. You need a plan for the next 3 months. You need a plan for the week. You need a plan for the day. You need a plan for the hour. All of that. I make lists constantly of what I have to do. And they're like daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. You need a vision of who you could be, what character you could have. 3 to 5 years out, you can't go much farther than that because life is too unpredictable. But you want to write the things down, because what are you going to do? You're going to stumble around and get what you need? And if you stumble around like you're blind, you're not going to get anywhere. And then you're going to suffer. And then you're going to be bitter. And then you're going to be cruel. That's hell. That's a bad outcome. So unless you want that, don't aim for it. Or aim for the opposite, because that's how you get out of it. Stop thinking that the world is different than you are. This is why I ask people to clean up their rooms. It's like, your room is you. It's you. And so you go in there and you clean up your room. You're cleaning you up too. The same way. You're developing discipline. You're putting yourself in order. You're developing a vision of the future. You're figuring out how to dress. You're figuring out how to take care of your things. You're interacting with the microcosmos that you have in front of you and learning how to balance chaos and order. There's no difference between you and what's around you. And that's a very difficult thing to understand. And so you want to act in a way that's good for you, but good for everything else at the same time.
It's so important for you to have the discipline of consistency, the discipline of putting the units of time in, whether you're doing research and development, whether you're doing practice and operation, whether you're doing debriefing and assessment, whether you're doing implementation, whatever it is you're doing and building your dream. It's important to have the discipline to be consistent in that practice. That's important. Consistency is going to bring about results. It's going to give you great results or it's going to give you great lessons. And either one you need. However, the area that I lacked in was the area of practicing self-care. So if I'm going to teach you and inspire you to do anything, I'm going to say, don't do it like I did it. Do it like I learned how to do it. Self-care is as important to your dream as getting on the treadmill of making sales calls, getting on the treadmill of being consistent on social media, getting on the treadmill of knowing your numbers and your projections, getting on the treadmills of mastering your craft. That the act of self-care is just as important. Because realize that what you're doing is not a sprint. You're not building something that's short term. You're building something that's a marathon. You're building a long haul. You want the work you do now to turn around and serve people in the next 20 years, whether you're still at it or not. So self-care is not optional, nor is self-care selfish. Self-care is your responsibility to your future. As you're disciplined enough to learn new techniques, implement new techniques, make sure that you're also disciplined in self-care. Now, let me be clear. Self-care does not mean balance. Balance is a myth and harmony is a must. What do I mean by that? You'll never rest for the same amount of time that you work. If you're a go-getter, if you're like me, if you're a gladiator, a change agent, a mover and shaker, then everything is not equal. But you can learn how to get what you need out of the time that you put into self-care. Self-care is the act of restoring your soul, restoring your cells, restoring your energy. Self-care is not necessarily a practice of something doing. Self-care is also the practice of being present to your family, being present to your friends, taking time out for casual conversations, allowing yourself to do things that just allow your brain to rest, giving your body a thank you, whether that is laying out in the sun or whether it's just spending some quality time with a family member, on the phone, on Zoom, or face-to-face. I want to implore you, as you're disciplined enough to give your dream a chance, be disciplined enough to practice self-care as well. Because self-care allows your body to be the instrument to get you all the way to the dream and beyond.
The Marines have a saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And that's just real. At the center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline. You know, something as simple as food and eating. It's not about your body as much as it is about your mind. It's getting command of your mind to be able to choose actions that are in your own best interest. Every day, we are choosing shit that's not in our own best interest. Self-discipline is the center of all material success. You cannot win the war against the world if you can't win the war against your own mind. I believe that self-discipline is the definition of self-love. That when you say that you love yourself, that means that you have behavior towards yourself that is loving. It's like you say to yourself, hey man, look, I know you want to eat that pizza and it'll be really good, you know, but I can't let you eat that, man, because if you eat that pizza, you're going to feel like shit, you know, and I love you too much to let you eat that. And I think the word discipline has kind of gotten a bad name. We think about it in terms of punishment. I'm not talking about discipline in that way. I'm talking about discipline in the sense that you forego immediate pleasure for the exchange of long-term self-respect. Self-love is, hey, look, I know you got a test on Monday, you know, and I know you really want to go out with your friends. It's Saturday night, you want to go out, but if you fail that test, you're not going to feel good about yourself. You know, I love you too much to let you go out tonight. Self-discipline is self-love. If you want to be happy, you have to love yourself, which means you have to discipline your behavior. The road to sustained happiness is through disciplining your behavior.
It's all these small things, these small disciplines. Why do you make your bed in the morning time? When I was in the military, I never forgot. I was like, why are we folding our shirt up this way? Why? Why am I making these hospital corners 45 degrees and then folding my bed back 6 inches, the size of $1? Why am I doing this? All these small things that we do in life are building your mind up for discipline. Every morning I wake up, I believe in winning the battle against yourself. People say, why do you say that? Because there's a lot of things you can control. When you wake up, I talk about making your bed. Make your bed. Make sure your house is clean. Make sure you get your breakfast. Make sure you shower, shave. Whatever you're doing, control that. Don't hit the snooze button. All these things are very important. That's been told a lot of times. Why don't you hit the snooze button? Because you wake up already failing. You're already behind the power curve. So what happens when you hit the snooze button? You may not make your bed. You may not do your hair the way you want it. You may not pick the right clothes out in the morning time. And I go back to this real quick. Remember how you had a job interview for a job? We've had several of them in our lives. What did you do the night before that job, weeks before the job interview, when you knew you had it? You prepared you had a bowl out for your oatmeal, your cereal, whatever you had in the morning time. Your coffee cup was out. Your clothes were laid out. You studied, you rehearsed, you were ready. You brought your best self. You were going to war with yourself because you wanted that interviewer to see your best self. You won. You got the job.